Om Namaste, Mooji. My name is Konstantin. I'm from Russia. Almost all enlightened teachers in satsang say that to enter into this state of presence, ask who am I, and there is nothing else to do. I can do it, but when I let go of the vigilance for that, mind backs over me and pulls my attention to the outside. So my question is, should I do sadhana, concentration, asana, pranayama, meditation and other yoga as additional practice to make a dive that deeper? With love to you and your team, Konstantin. You're asked to find out who am I, and you say the teachers are saying nothing else to do. Then you say, I can do it. I can ask this question, who am I? But when I let go of the vigilance for that, then this question in the inquiry, another form of the who am I question is you say, when I let go of the vigilance for that, then what is letting go of the vigilance? You must be clear about it. What is letting go of vigilance? Or even who needs vigilance? You can ask this question without any cynicism or arrogance. Just find out. As you make your inquiry, your mind is becoming more and more ripe and experienced and finding the right way to approach inquiry. Just out of itself, it's growing very naturally like that, until eventually it can inquire with such precision and such power, you see. But in the beginning, you may find you're shuffling around, you're not quite sure if you're asking the right questions. All of this is just in the beginning stage, but quickly your inquiry picks up a strength and a kind of a depth, and it is showing you see. So where I left off, when I let go of the vigilance for that, just determine what is letting go or what is holding on, who needs to be vigilant, you see. And I would say the vigilance is the self in its aspect as the beingness. And the feeling I am is somehow combining itself with the conditioning, the ego and personality or so, like this. And it's that aspect of the association coming from the ego, from past and from conditioning, that falls asleep. So the vigilance is for the consciousness to keep on even looking into this notion of sleep, because sometimes even the sleep is a fake sleep. Sometimes the mind just goes into a kind of sleep to avoid the inquiry, but something is aware even of this and this, and just keep on confirming and verifying that the awareness is not undergoing any transformation. As soon as that becomes clear, all these kind of states of falling asleep, confusion, they'll just fall away because they're not true. So I'm going to deal with that before we go to the last part. So you say, when I let go of the vigilance for doing the inquiry, the mind backs over me, so to speak. It's an unusual expression, and pulls my attention to the outside. So this is the struggle with spirituality, that the moment you are moving towards a higher goal, there's a force that's pulling you back towards a lower state. This type of toing and froing will continue for a while, but you must not give up. That's one, you must never give up. At this stage, the mind is putting up a fight. It doesn't want to be shaken away, shaken out of its armchair of rulership. So there's some kind of resistance come. But gradually, with you staying put and you seeing that, but all of these things are only movements in consciousness and they pass, with looking at all of, becoming clear of all this, the mind actually is growing tired. It's going to fade. If it doesn't get the food it usually gets, which is your identification, your belief, and your interest towards the mind, if it doesn't get that, initially it will rebel, but after that it will get exhausted. When it gets exhausted, it will become more quiet. So you must not give in. Let the mind give in, but not you. Then you say, so my question is, should I do sadhana in the form of concentration, asana, pranayama, meditation, or other yogas. No, go back to the point I just mentioned and look at this thing which wants to. If I tell you go and do these things, then I'm telling you the inquiry is not enough. But what I'm telling you, the inquiry is enough. And if you are exercising, employing the inquiry, you can leave all of this alone. Forget about all of those things. Concentration, asanas, pranayama, meditation, you don't need to do it. Just satisfactory inquiry, nothing else is needed with it. Have that conviction and complete it. Because maybe the mind itself would like to say, why don't we do some concentration instead? All this inquiry stuff is not working. Why don't we do some asana? Look, I can do this. Then he will say, pranayama, yeah, let's watch. Let's just watch the breath. Watch it. See, because you know it's not going to get anywhere, no. Because you're really onto it. You're really onto it. You're really onto something, and resistance is coming. So if you feel in your spiritual research or your quest that resistance is coming, it's because you're onto something. When you get encouraging from the mind, oh, this feels good and stuff, usually nothing's going on. Funny. And then you had to, or should you do any other additional practice to make a dive into what is deeper? No, you don't do it. Stick with the inquiry. And then you already start in the beginning. Almost all teachers, all enlightened teachers in satsangs say that to enter into this state of presence, you see, I would rather say to recognize your inherent being or the state of presence, because it is not brought in from somewhere else, it's not created, it's just unmasked. It is already there. You are the presence. When you say I, it means presence. It doesn't mean John Brown. I means presence. And you will come to see this, you see. It was already presence before it became John or George. It was already presence. And when it became George, it was still presence, pretending to be George. So don't feel sorry for George.